Good morning. How's everybody doing? So I'm one of those people that believes when you do something wrong or something a bit daring, and it doesn't go off quite the way you wanted it to, you apologize. So I used to work at 𝗣𝗿cie, and I used to listen to Rory speak all the time, and I love to hear him speak. And he's amazing, right? Right? I mean, the Twitter feed has been going off the hook. So I pushed really hard for Rory to be here with us today, and the organizers are in the back pulling their hair out just a little bit. So I'm going to, and what I did was I put myself second, so I knew I could stretch or shrink. I knew I'd probably have to shrink to accommodate. So if you'll bear with me, we're going to go quite quickly. As Tink said, I am Skip Fidura, and I'm responsible for our consultancy and our thought leadership. And I'm here today to kind of set the scene and kind of put you in the right headspace for what we're going to accomplish. Quick question, how many of you here came out today because you want to improve your email marketing? Not everybody. I'm not going to ask how many of you here just came because you wanted to get out of the office for the day. Okay, so we've been doing a lot of research and sponsoring a lot of research, and this beginning bit you've all heard before, right? We love email. Everybody loves email. Consumers love email. You've heard me give all the stats. They say they love it. Their open rates and click-through rates indicate they love it. And why do we love it as marketers? Well, we love it because it makes us a lot more money. 50% of all UK marketers are getting more than 10-to-1 ROI on their email, and the average is over 30 quid. And that's gone up since last year. So, consumers love it, we love it. Now, we have some challenges that we face. And let's get right to those stats. 85% of consumers say that more than half the emails they get are irrelevant, and 42% of marketers agree. So if we start over here, and I figured this out last night, and I got to go to about Tinker here. All of you guys are sending irrelevant emails, and all of you guys are sending relevant emails. Now, I don't believe that's true, obviously, but 42% of marketers say that some or none of the emails they send are relevant to their consumers. And that's a pretty scary statistic in my mind. So, email is more popular than ever, despite marketers, at least 42% of them, not fulfilling on its promise to get the right message to the right person at the right time. I know it is really cliche, but that's what we're looking at. So, what are you guys going to do about it? What can you do about it? Well, we did a bit of research again this year, hitting the mark. We've been doing it for the last 8 or 9 years. It started out as a who does email well kind of thing, and now it is looking at the top 50 brands in the UK, or 50 top brands in the UK, 50 top brands in the US, and coming up with how is their e-commerce working, and how are they doing that? Are they doing that well? And we did what you'd expect. Did a little bit of mystery shopping, signed up for their newsletter, waited, put something in the shopping cart or in the basket, waited, interacted with their newsletter, waited, just to see how they would react. And I'm going to present some of the high-level findings for you today. So the first thing, brands are clearly looking to capitalize on mobile. Criteo Okay, I'll just keep going. Criteo, in their State of Mobile Commerce report in 2016, said that by the end of this year, 70% of all transactions, e-commerce transactions, will happen on a mobile device. So, what are the 100 brands in our study doing about that? 71% of them are offering alternative payment methods. PayPal, Amazon Pay, whatever. We've also had clients that have put something like, we've had a client put Apple in their email, which means that you skip the e-commerce site altogether. You buy it straight from the email. And I think many of you will know that we've recently launched a feature where you can put a PayPal button in the email. And again, you skip the e-commerce site altogether. Whatever that product is, you go straight ahead and buy it. One last point on that. Sorry, I clicked one too early. Getting ahead of myself. Here's the problem with these brands. It's their mobile responsive email. Their responsive email isn't responsive. The email doesn't work on a mobile. So I went through the stats quite quickly at the beginning, but consumers are telling us they want to use the email to get to our website, and we want to sell to them, so we've spent a lot of money to build a mobile responsive website. And what happens? They get the email. It's not mobile responsive. Now, I think Rory would tell you, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're not going to assume that the website must be mobile responsive because the email's not. No, they're going to assume that the website's not. So you've lost at the first hurdle. Okay, now back to 𝗣𝗿cie. I'm sure you've all seen the movie, so I don't have to give you a whole lot of background, but what's the funny part of this movie? The funny part of this movie is that 𝗍𝗿cie has really bad short-term memory loss. Every time she meets somebody, she's like, hi, I'm 𝗍𝗿cie. Hi, I'm 𝗍𝗿cie. Hi, I'm 𝗍𝗿cie. Right? She can't remember meeting somebody. And it's funny in the movie, but it's scary in our study, because brands are doing the exact same thing. They are not using any kind of personalization or any kind of segmentation, or many of them aren't anyway. Now, we know they had the data. We know what data we gave them when we signed up, right? They gave us a form, and we asked, or they asked and we answered. We know that they should be tracking what we clicked through on the email, and we know they should know what we bought. And yet every email we get, hi, I'm 𝗍𝗿cie. Hi, I'm 𝗍𝗿cie. No recognition that they know who we are. How can you expect to build meaningful relationships with your consumers if you're behaving like 𝗍𝗿cie? I'm not going to dwell on this one too long in the interest of time, and I found that this actually puts people to sleep with the yawn. Sorry. But there's a tremendous lack of inspiring copy and content in our industry. Digital has made the bean counters, the accountants, say, oh, do we have to pay for copywriters? Do we have to pay for design people? Because the cost of an email going out looking slightly ugly is minuscule relative to a DM piece or a TV advert or bad copy on a radio ad, right? So that's where they're going to want to put the copywriter money. The good news is, if you're a small brand, the big brands aren't putting their copywriter money on email. So if you do, you can compete. Now, if I had asked anybody here grow up on a farm? Okay, is this, of course. So would this be a picture of modern farming, Chloe? No. This is definitely not a picture of modern farming. Modern farming is pretty impressive, actually. You get in the tractor, it's air conditioned, you've got a full AV set up in front of you, you have Wi-Fi, right? You push a button, and the GPS drives the tractor around the field doing what you want it to do. What do we call that? Automation, right? And I was trying to come up with a picture of a lack of automation, because that's also what we're seeing in this Hitting the Mark report. Some scary numbers here. 14% of brands aren't doing a welcome program at all. I'm not going to ask you guys to raise your hands, because I wouldn't want anybody to have to put their hand up and say they're not doing a welcome program. But Rory was talking about it. It's just polite. Somebody's giving you their data, right? Say thank you. If you say nothing else, say thank you. 60% are not sending any kind of abandoned basket. The business case here writes itself. This is when you do want to get the accountants involved, although if you do, you're probably going to get sacked for commercial malfeasance. So, two quick examples. We've got a B2B client, B2B e-commerce, turned on abandoned basket, and they paid for their program, all the setup costs, all the strategy costs, all the design costs, with the first email. Not the first day, not the first week, not the first month, the first email. Now you might be sitting there thinking, yeah, okay, it's B2B, and they've got big, high average order values, but we see it in B2C as well. One of our brands, we were doing had a meeting with them, a quarterly review meeting with them the other day, and we were just chit-chatting, going through their stats. They're reclaiming 50,000 pounds a month with their abandoned basket program. This is a B2C brand, not high order values, okay? You guys probably all have heard of them. 50,000 pounds a month. Can anybody here just say, oh, I don't need that 50 grand? Maybe you make the deal. I tell you what, if I get you 50 grand, I want half of it for my budget. You can have the other half because you were wasting it. You weren't using it. So, who came out on top? Here are the brands that came out on top, right? Some that you would expect. ASOS, John Lewis. Where's the Holiday Extra crew? I can't really see. Well, they're here somewhere. If you see the Holiday Extra crew, check out their name tags. They're in there, and they're here today. Give them a pat on the back. They're doing email really well. Sign up for their email. It's very good. There are also some brands on here that I wouldn't have expected straight off. It seems like we're bashing EasyJet. That's not the intention of this conference. This isn't the Bash EasyJet conference. But I was like, EasyJet, really? But how many of you got their 20th anniversary email? How good was that? Right? They told me every place I'd been since I moved to the UK on EasyJet. Very clever, very good. So, what are these brands doing? These are the top 3 challenges as reported by the DMA's recent email marketer tracker report. And you guys echoed it this morning. Yeah, that things bounced around, but we ended up on data. Data was the biggest challenge. And the brands that are doing this well, the brands that are top of hitting the mark, have managed all of these. They've managed to overcome lack of strategy, they've managed to overcome the data issues, and they've managed to overcome the limited internal resource. Now the second two, you might think, ooh, technology solution, obviously. But here's the problem. If you jump right in on that technology solution, you're likely to make a mistake. If you don't have your strategy nailed, then you pick the wrong technology. You either pick a technology, you might think, okay, internal resource is my problem, I'm going to pick a simple-to-use platform, potentially it's a platform too small, maybe it doesn't have as many features as you need, and you end up not being able to hit your aspirations, right? Or you pick a big platform, got lots of stuff going on, and we were having this conversation with Tucker this morning about, that's kind of, in his view, that's the way the industry is going, is that there will be like a one-stop shop for pretty much everything. And potentially, he's right. We may get there, for sure. But right now, what a lot of those providers are doing is, kind of the only thing that's integrated is the invoice. So you need to know what your strategy is. You need to know what platform is right for you. And this may sound strange coming from me. I work for 𝗣𝗿cie. All the people that are responsible for making sure I get paid are sitting here in the front row. If we're not the right solution, don't pick us. You should go with the right solution. Now, I'm confident that we will be the right solution. Let's get that clear right now. But technology is not a silver bullet. It's an enabler. And if you're not using the technology to enable your marketing program, then you're just going to get frustrated. You're just going to be throwing good money after bad. And it's just not a happy place to be for anybody. So, the top brands are not smashing it. But you can, by ignoring the magpie marketing, don't chase after the tech, and focusing on the fundamentals. And I had to give a special shout out to Justin Tyrrell. He's in the back. He's our head of UK sales. I've just demoted him. He's our UK and EMEA sales director. And he coined this phrase, and if you've ever been to a 𝗣𝗿cie event, you know what it is, you know it's coming. And if you've ever seen me speak before, you know that this is the longest I've let a crowd be quiet. So I want a big, rousing, full voice. You know what it is. Say it with me. Say it with me. Think big, start small, and scale quickly. Thank you very much.